Welcome to the Lips and Language podcast. My name is Cola, where we talk about life, love, and language. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Let's get into today's topic. He called me artist, and I cried. You're probably getting a theme now that, I'm an emotional person. But God called my name. Just like in the Bible, how he changed Abram to Abraham. He changed my name from Cola to, my full name is Nicola, but he changed my name to artist. In his eyes, I am an artist. I'm an artist of many form. I am art, yes. I do lip design, yes, but I do websites and many things creative I'm able to do. And so he calls me an artist. I speak words in poetic form. I love music. And so I received my title. But this is how he did it. So my church had agreed to give me a job letter, which is beautiful. And I started working out what things were going to look like. Started putting my portfolio together. And at first I didn't, because I'm like, God, I don't even know how to put a portfolio together. Like, what do I put? What do I write? I was being so, I guess, stubborn about it in my own way, right? Like, I was like, man, I don't even know what to do. I've done many different things. How do I put it all on paper? And like, it finally clicked. This is what you do. This is how you put it together. And just add your spin on it. But I had been delayed. Like, I kept saying, I gotta finish this. I gotta finish it. I gotta finish it. I gotta finish it. And I just never did. I never took the time to finish it. Now, we just recently came back from Alberta. That's where this whole faith is big as mountains is coming from. Because, y'all, he brought me to Alberta and showed me the mountains. He brought me to Alberta and showed me the mountains. But I'll come back to that. I was in church service. And before that, Miss Val had told me that God is going to speak to me as I'm speaking in tongues. And he's going to give me the English translation of it. And I was like, oh, that's exciting. And so one Sunday I had got up and I was just looking into this whole visa thing. Because you have to have a bachelor's degree to go. And I'm like, I have a bachelor's degree. It just isn't specific to graphic design. And as I was reading this article that I had found, it's like my eye caught it. The peripheral of my eye saw it. And I went to this part of the article and it said, or similar degree, like fine arts. And I tell you, in that moment, I was so shocked. I was like, wait, what? Like, a similar degree? And sometimes we go to school. You hear this, people talk about it all the time. They're like, their degrees are so worthless. They're not even working in the field in which they graduated. And in this moment, I graduated in 2012. This was the first time I was so excited that I went to university. I was like, I qualify. God qualifies He qualifies the unqualified. He qualifies whoever he called. But I'm like, even when I feel so unworthy, God is showing me that there's still a way. God is showing me that there's still something that can be done, that it is not over. And I remember the day when I asked God for papers to take, and I'm like, man, more than ever, this visa route seems like the better route for me to take. It seems like it's so much more it was already in line with the work that I was doing. I was already doing doing graphics. I was already making things. I was already putting things together. And I'm like, everything that I had thought of kind of just shifted, right? Like it just shifted a little bit where now instead of me searching for work was finding me in the field that I was in. People are asking, hey, can you do this brochure for me? Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do that? I'm like, wow. The one shift, not staying in my own way, but just being open to the skills that I had and just seeing things differently. This one shift opened up opportunities. And now I'm looking at a visa that I can apply for if I have all the other criteria in place. And I really was just so grateful to God that he did not forget about me, that he was still working on things behind scenes, that he was still showing me the way to go. And so in the midst of it, I just started praising him, and I'm crying and I'm praying and I'm on the church line, and as I'm speaking in tongues, he starts saying, I'm calling you artists. I'm restoring what they took from you. Like, he just starts loving on me in a way that I'm like, for years, my art degree has seemed so pointless. I don't know if you're from like a Caribbean background or just from like a stricter background where they kind of like, as a society, look down upon artists and just people who went to school for anything other than like a doctor, lawyer, and like the regular things, right? And so for years, it made me feel like my degree was such a waste because I'm like, I'm not really working in it right now. And I mean, society on a whole thinks that like a fine arts degree is just whatever. And here I was, and it's the same degree that I had once like thought nothing of was going to be the same piece of paper that carried me across the border. Was going to be the same piece of paper that qualified me for a job that truthfully I really love doing. I really enjoy being creative. I really enjoy putting my mind together. I really enjoy seeing things. And I really enjoy being able to see my work in just a different form. Yes, I do lip design. And yes, I had a skincare company. But this was something different. And it was something so unexpected. It was something that I didn't even think that I would do or that I would love. And like, I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would spend time doing it. And then God started showing me like the way to use different skills. Things that I said last year, oh, I don't even know how to do that. This year, I was learning. He had me start this podcast again. And I was learning different techniques. I was learning different ways. And all of those was building up my skills to prepare me for this job that I didn't originally think I could get. And my whole life has shifted. My whole life has shifted. Because now, instead of planning to go to Los Angeles, I am now planning to go to Florida, of all places. It wasn't in my notes. It wasn't in my thoughts. Like, yeah, I go to a church that is based in Florida, but this wasn't necessarily where I thought I'd be planted. And I honestly still don't know what God has for me. This is still very much a faith walk. This is still very much walking with God. And typically, a lot of people tell their stories when they've gotten to the other side, when the move has happened and they're reflecting on how God has brought them through. But for some reason, I guess a part of me feels like this faith as big as mountains whole conversation needed to happen now. I needed to tell the story about it from now. And so that brings me to the mountains. So we had gone to see my uncle who had flown here from England, flown to Canada, but was in Alberta. We're in Ontario. And it's about a 4-hour plane ride from Ontario to get to Alberta. But he had invited us to come down, and we weren't sure we were going to go. But in the end, with some convincing, we ended up going. We went to go see him, and he went to go see his uncle, who was also very ill. And so God just orchestrated in a way that we all got to go to Alberta. and we had a marvelous time. Like, when I say marvelous, like, fantastic. My dad's friend who we stayed with was such a gem, such a beauty, and it really made everything so much better. But then getting to see my uncle, who I haven't seen in years, and family time, like, it was just so healing. I got to see pictures of my grandma, who I've never met because she died when I was younger. And my dad never had pictures of her because although she birthed him, he was never raised with her. And so my dad was adopted by other people, and so he didn't really know his birth mother. And so we got to see pictures of her that we just never would have seen before, and it was really incredible to see that part of family. But so yes, now we're in Alberta, and we're going over to Lake Louise. And on our drive to Lake Louise, it's just mountains. It's just beautiful, beautiful mountains. And I'm in such all the pictures of this Faith Moves Mountains journey is of the mountains that I saw. Like, either I'll be in the picture, or like you'll just see the mountains that I saw, because they were incredible. Because when we're thinking of faith as big as mountains, when we're thinking about, in the Bible says you can pick up this mountain and have it moved, you have to see these mountains in real life. You have to see that these mountains are disgustingly big in the most beautiful way. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, God, this is the type of faith that you say I have? Because God's been telling me that I have mountain moving faith. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, so this is how big you say my faith is. Like, even I was in awe of the type of faith that God believes I have. Because I'm like, this is huge. And I have done some wild things, and I do believe for the impossible, and I do believe in things that don't seem like as if they are. But that's what we're supposed to do. We're called to believe. It said, without faith, it is impossible to please God. And so if it's impossible to please God without faith, why would I not have faith? And not just that little dinky faith. Like, yes, they said if you have faith as big as a mustard seed, cool. But I've graduated past mustard seed faith. Like, at some point, our faith can't just stay at mustard seed level. It has to grow with us. We can't stay the same. We have to evolve as spiritual beings. And so I'm looking at these mountains and I'm like, oh my goodness, Lord, they're beautiful. Firstly, they're beautiful, and they're tall, and they're big. And I'm just like, I felt like I needed to raise my faith. I feel like, oh my God, I'm not there yet, but I shall get there because you're showing it to me. Because you're showing me that it's possible. Because you're showing me that it's something that if I want it, if I desire to have it, I can. I can choose to have faith that big and choose to believe, no matter what you say, that everything's going to be okay, that everything's going to work out, and that you have my best interest at heart. And so that's what I chose to do. And before we came back, on May 11th, 2023, the mandates came down and the borders were open. And I think about the months that I prayed, the months that I cried, and actually the day that I found out that they were lifting the mandates, I cried out to God. I said, God, I've been praying. I've been coming to you. You've been showing me I need to see something different. And that same day, they announced that the mandates were coming down. And by the time we got back from Alberta, they had opened. And I was like, wow. It has been such a journey. Have you ever been doing so much that by the time you get to the end, you're just tired? I came back from Alberta, but like my portfolio wasn't together yet. I had started the visa process, but I didn't finish the work that I was supposed to do. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And now I'm like, the thing that was standing in my way is not open. And so now I'm like, I feel like I'm holding myself back from going. I didn't feel like, go now. But also, I feel like I had gotten to the point where I was so tired that I'm just like, man, I don't even know. Is it going to be as easy as Chicago? Am I going to get denied? And now this is different. I'm applying for papers. I'm applying for papers to get through. And no, I'm not lying. And everything is legal and everything is correct. But there's that little part of me that is like, man, they denied you way back when. What makes this any different? And I know that is fear talking. And so I'm just like, I'm declaring right now that I shall get through with ease. I shall get through with ease, and it will not be a problem. And I was reflecting on the journey, and I was looking at, had I left in September, I could have only stayed in that country for 6 months without any paperwork, and I'd have to come back. And I look at everything that's happened in the last 6 months, a whirlwind of things. But this time when I leave, I'll have documentation. A, I'll have a job, but B, I'll have documentation in which I can stay longer. And I look at how sometimes we want things our way, but the way that God has it is so much better. It's so much greater. And it provides such a relief. It's less stress. Like, at the time, it feels stressful when things are happening and things don't go the way you want. But, like, looking back now, I'm like, man, it is less stress that I'm going through in a way that I won't have to focus on anything else. Like, I'll just focus on, as I've been praying, working, building community, and whatever else God has called me to do. Because I have a mentorship program. And that still has to be, it's already launched, but that still has to build up, right? I have a podcast that I speak on primarily every day, Monday to Friday. And so there's things that's already in place that I know He's just going to continue blessing on top of the work that He's given me. And if He brings me to California, amen. He may. But if He doesn't, I really just want to be content with where I am currently. I don't want to be here dreading the next space. I don't want to be here complaining, because that's what the Israelites did, or they stayed longer. This is the people in Egypt, and they stayed longer when they came out. They stayed longer in the wilderness. I want to enjoy this process because I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. I've gotten closer to friends. And so many things have changed and happened around me. But the one thing that has stayed constant has been God. God is the realist. And this journey with Him has been the biggest faith journey I've had to take thus far. Even bigger than resurrection. This journey has caused me to test every part of myself, to remain steadfast, to look at my closet with my stuff packed in my suitcase, knowing that I'm only bringing a few specific things. I lost a business in this process. Well, temporarily closed down a business in this process. Like, there's so many things that happened, and now I'm looking forward to what God has next. And so, yeah, guys, get ready to hear more, but I'm leaving soon. I really am. And I'm excited to document the rest of it. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the Lips and Language podcast. My name is Kola. I am so excited that you are here. If anything I said today resonated, then get in touch with me. I have an amazing mentorship program. It is for those who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, going through grief. It is truly an amazing time. If you want more info, hit my website, lipsandlanguage.com. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can hit it up on the website or DM me. I have a free gift for you, and I would love to be in contact with you. Whatever you decide, just know that healing, it looks good on you. And I'm so excited that we get to do this journey together. Have a blessed day. And if nobody told you, I will. I love you. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk soon. Peace.